Hi angels, welcome to Earth Angel Energy. I'm the Earth Angel and today I'm bringing you another pick a card reading, and today's topic is when people stare at you, what do they think? And I do have to say the energy is hot in this one, and I have 3 piles for you. Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So go ahead and take a second, see which pile resonates with you. We can go ahead and get started. Hi, pile 1. So if you chose the first pile, then this is your reading on what do people think when they're staring at you. Okay, I'm seeing this initial hot energy. If you catch people staring at you, if people are staring at you like behind your back, it's probably because they can't look away. I mean, immediately it's just like a whoa, they're attractive kind of energy with the Ace of Wands. People could find you very attractive. Now with the Ten of Pentacles, there is also something very well put together about you, something aspirational about you. So people could also be staring. I just heard some people check to see if you wear like a wedding ring. With the Magician, there is kind of this question of, do I think that I could ever have a chance with this person? Or do I think this person would be interested in me? Now with the Nine of Wands, I'll be honest, I think the conclusion that most people come to is no. There is this almost like the snap judgment of like, that person's out of my league. I think looks wise and like finance wise. Oh, okay. And the Strength and the Devil. It's like a very intense energy. If people are staring at you, I'm just getting this feeling like they can't help it. Like you look really good. You could be very attractive. There's something very enticing about you. Like it's like bam in your face. People could be admiring your body, your fitness. Let's get some more, because I'm just getting like this immediate just like rush of like intensity. It's almost like, this is gonna sound kind of messed up. I'm not getting a whole lot of thoughts actually. Like pile 2 had more thoughts or questions. The Fool, just like no thoughts, head empty. They're very attractive. They look really good. Yeah. I do think that for some people, they do stare from the sense of like, you know, just when someone looks really good and they walk in a room and you either start to feel insecure or feel like a little bit competitive or something. I'm also getting that people could notice other people staring at you and then stare at you because of that. The Star. Wow, the Star. And I don't know if you hear that emergency vehicle with its little like alarm. So that definitely feels like a potent message here. I feel like you actually get stared at a lot. I just heard like devastatingly handsome or devastatingly like beautiful. Oh my gosh, the Death card. This is a lot. I don't know what you've been doing recently. This could be normal for you. For some of you, you're getting your groove back. 4 of Cups. Okay, yeah. Let's see the 4 of Cups. What are people thinking when they stare at you? What are people? 2 of Cups, the 10 of Cups. With the challenge position, I'll be honest, this is bad, but if people are in commitments already, you know, let's just say I'm glad that you're not entertaining that kind of energy. But this is just like very straightforward. I think you look really good. You're carrying yourself really well. It's almost like this like intense magnetism. I think people like chemically or biologically like respond immediately. It's kind of intense. 9 of Pentacles. So people are also making a lot of assumptions too about your finances, maybe your career. There could be some questions after that immediate like, wow. Honestly, I'm getting both genders find you incredibly attractive, and honestly both genders could be attracted to you. Whether or not, you know, they're happy about that is a different story, because I am seeing a little bit of a competitive energy. But with the 9 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands, I'll be honest, if any of you are in a relationship and you're out and about, you and your partner might get stared at. 5 of Pentacles, but from like a sad place, like either being jealous of your partner, that they have you. 8 of Wands, interesting. 8 of Wands. When people stare at you, they could like really, It's like they want to talk to you or they want to approach you, but I think people honestly are kind of scared. Like, do you ever just see those people who look so attractive or maybe like successful or something, and you're just like, there's no way I could talk to that person? It's coming through really strongly. I mean, I'll be honest. We have the Ace of Wands, the Star, the Sun, the Fool, the Magician. Like, you just look like in a whole another class of your own. It's almost giving me like celebrity energy. I heard this is in particular, but if some of you live in a place where like celebrities are, so say like New York, London, like LA, something like that, people could actually wonder, Page of Cups, Two of Swords, and the King of Wands. People could actually wonder, like, I'm getting a lot of like channeled messages for this one. So number one, some people could think you're like some sort of budding star, or you are a star. I heard for some of you, if you go out with like your partner, or I heard for some of you like a family member or a friend or something, if they're like a bigger person, especially a bigger guy, some people could have thought that your partner was your bodyguard. What is going on here? No, this is crazy. With the Ace of Swords and the Justice. Okay, anything else? This is a lot. Wow. Okay, anything else? And I think honestly for some of you, like, this definitely might be a little bit of like an ego boost, but this is not going to be the kind of energy where you're like shocked by this. Like, you're not going to be like, this is not me. If you feel like this is not you, there's definitely other piles that could resonate more, but I feel like this might surprise you a little bit, but it's not going to feel like it comes out of left field. Seven of Swords, Judgment, and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so when people stare at you, it's just a very hot, spicy energy, if I'm honest, pile one. I think they do make a lot of good, like, substantive assumptions about you or thoughts. So, like, they do feel like you seem like a respectable person. Like, you don't seem like, you know, shady or anything like that. But I'm just getting a lot of, like, spicy thoughts. Also, like, do you think that they would maybe have, like, a go with me? Or do you think that they would... Temperance. But once again, the answer for a lot of people is always no. Like, it's like they, I'm not going to say fantasize necessarily, but it's almost like, man, like, if I could have someone like that, or if they would just pay attention to me. Now, in this context, the Magician has come through in multiple piles. And the way that it feels to me is almost like wanting to manifest you as well. So if people are staring at you, they could really hope that you, like, look back. I heard for some of you, you never do. This is kind of funny. Page of Cups. People could also wonder about your age. Wheel of Fortune. People actually feel like fortunate to see you. It's almost like, let me stare to like get a mental picture of this person because they look so good. Okay, we got the Four of Swords, the Three of Cups, Ace of Swords. Now it's getting a little bit sad because I do think, once again, there's like an intense attraction, and especially too, like, if you're not really getting approached like that, or people are just staring at you but not saying anything, or getting like nervous, it's because it's a very intense energy. But it's kind of getting sad from the sense of like, no one like that would ever like me, or no one like that would ever be interested in me, or yeah, the Moon, like someone like that will always be in another world or inaccessible to me. It's getting kind of sad. Anything else? Anything else for pile one? I mean, this is a very hot energy. You look really good. I think you're taking very good care of yourself. For some of you, you're either in a glow up or you've always looked good and you just keep looking better. Anything else? Okay, the Hierophant and the Hanged Man. I would say the biggest thought or like question that people have is like, what is your status? Are you married? Are you in a relationship? But also my Hierophant, that is my commitment energy, but that could also be like career as well too. So like, what do you do? Where did you come from? The Hierophant is usually high status for me. And so there is this kind of assumption that you are high status physically, financially, career-wise, socially. Six of Wands, like you're just a winner. You've won at the game of life. That's what people think when they stare at you, that you have won the genetic lottery, you've won the lucky draw. They're just completely assuming that your life is great, you look great, you feel great, everything is great, and that you're completely inaccessible. It's honestly like a very intense energy. This energy almost feels like a slap in the face. Knight of Wands, and just very attractive, very fiery, very attractive. You definitely stand out, but people definitely feel like you are just above them, and that's it. End of story. It's kind of intense, but it came through really, really intense. If you can read cards, it feels like this energy smacked me in the face. That's what I have for you, pile one. You are blowing people away. Wow, pile one. That's what I have for you. I hope that resonated. I feel like it was very like to the point, because the energy felt very to the point, very unambiguous. People just think you are fire, pile one. That's what I have for you. I hope this resonated. I hope you enjoyed that. That was like, whew, blew me away. So thank you so much once again. You can feel free to check out my Patreon if you want to support me there and see the exclusive version of this reading. And if you want a personal reading with me, instructions on how to book that are down below. But thank you so much, and until I see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and God bless you. Hi, pile two. So if you chose a second pile, then this is your reading on what do people think when they stare at you. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions, pile two. You seem very mysterious. People could wonder like how old you are, where you're from, what your background is, what your ethnicity is. Justice. It's like you have a generally positive view. So it feels like relatively neutral. In the sense of like, I'm not getting like an accusatory tone, like, who are they? It's more like just curiosity. Now with the Seven of Wands, I'll be honest, there is something about you that stands out. There's something about you that is appealing. But something about you that feels either like mystical or just different. I feel like you pull people out of their like regular schmegular lives. So you actually could get quite a bit of attention, but it's because there's something different about you. I do feel like people kind of fantasize about you, but it's more like, ooh, who are they? Like, they're different. Like, I wonder where they're from. I wonder what they do. With the Nine of Wands, there could be a little bit of insecurity that pops up for people. I need to get more, because this one definitely feels like people are slightly confused. Like, for some of you, people cannot tell how old you are, like what you are, where you're from, or... Seven of Swords, okay. With the Six of Wands, okay, like you look good. Some of you could be like ambiguous in some way. So this could be like ethnically ambiguous, age ambiguous, gender ambiguous. That's not going to be for everybody, but there's some sort of ambiguity here. Yeah, to some capacity. And people just want to know. People get really curious about you because you're different. But, like, you look good. With the Six of Wands, like, you look like you're living a good life. Yeah. The Temperance. So I feel like initially for you, pile two, people look at you and you stand out and they're like, I wonder who they are. How old are they? Or, you know, where are they from? Or are they from here? But then it kind of settles in the Sun and the Balance, where I feel like after that initial kind of like questioning energy, people are like, they look nice. Or like it's a fondness that develops, but I think you do initially really spark people's curiosity because there's something about you that they can't quite figure out. I feel like people like to place people in boxes or say, you know, that person's like older person, that person's a younger person, this person is this race, this person is this, that. And it's kind of hard in some aspect. Four of Cups here. King of Cups. Oh, what's the Four of Cups here? I feel like people feel a genuine fondness for you though. Like something about you feels very like, oh, like it's a nice energy. But what's the Four of Cups? And we do have the Page of Swords. I do feel like, okay, this is really interesting. But some people, when they stare at you from a place of like affection or attraction or like, ooh, I feel like I like that person. They look good or they seem nice. But with the Four of Cups, it's almost like that ambiguity. Sometimes people like take themselves out of the running. So maybe people think you're like younger than you are or that you wouldn't be interested or like something about feeling like they don't line up with you. I just heard you make a lot of people feel very ordinary or very plain or very bland. Oh, Four of Swords. Okay. King of Wands. something about people like trying to hide their attraction or like feeling bad or feeling like they shouldn't. There's a 9 of Cups in the page. I'm going to be honest. For some of you, people who are your age think you're a lot younger than them and it makes them feel bad. 9 of Swords. Like, they feel bad. But you're, like, the same age, but they can't tell. Oh my gosh, the Fool in reverse, yeah. People think, like, I can't go for that. I can't, like, the Chariot with the Empress. Aww. So, here's one thing I will say. When it comes to love, when it comes to connections, you do not need everybody approaching you. You need one person. So this will come up sometimes in readings where it'll be like, you know, a lot of people don't feel comfortable approaching you, and that's not a bad thing. I feel like usually the people who have the worst times in love are the people who get approached all the time because they get approached by good and bad people. With the Chariot, the Empress, and the 9 of Pentacles, I'll be honest, I feel like for a lot of you, if people knew like your age, like if you carried around a sign, I feel like you would get approached a lot more. 6 of Cups, people are like convinced that you're way younger. I just heard people your age feel old next to you. What is this? The Hierophant, the Page of Cups, and the 10 of Cups. People could find you very like cute and sweet looking, or 5 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. Again, there's something here about people like feeling bad. So if this is your reading, you're definitely like, you definitely look younger than you are, for sure. For sure. Like, I feel like in every pile there's certain things that like, if this is your reading, it's not going to shock you. And me saying, you know, people think that you're younger than you are, this should not shock you at all. And if it doesn't, this is your reading, because people do find you very attractive, but there's like all this ambiguity where they don't know like if it's allowed or appropriate. The Moon, the 9 of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Yes. It's just very like ambiguous. But people do also assume, once again, like, you look well taken care of. You look very attractive. But I don't know. I think you raise questions for people. And it's like, it's hard to place you in a box. So you're different from other people, or there's something very unique about you. The Ace of Swords. Yeah. I feel like more than anything for you, pile 2, when people stare at you, they're just trying, like, they want to know the truth. Like, who are they? What is their name? How old are they? Where are they from? Like, but it doesn't feel, once again, it doesn't feel like a harsh energy. It just feels like genuine curiosity. There's something very unique about you, something very different about you, and something ambiguous about you. It's like a question mark, but it's like a question mark with sparkles around it, or a question mark with like hearts around it kind of energy. Okay, final cards for pile 2. What do people think when they stare at my pile 2? 3 of Wands. This is wild. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This keeps coming through, so I don't even know if there's a solution to this, you know. But there is like just a lot of questions about how old you are. Like the 3 of Wands, the Hierophant, like, oh, I would have to wait to be with this person, or, you know, like, and I get really specifically, I'm telling you, like, people your age think that you are like significantly younger than them. Queen of Wands. Hermit. All in the world. It's like, they were a little bit older or something. It's getting kind of weird. Because one thing I will say with the King of Cups is like, it's not like a creepy energy necessarily. So like for some of you, say for instance you're 30, there could be other 30-year-olds that think you're like 21. So it's not like a super weird energy. And if anything, I'm kind of glad that people have this internal like standard for themselves to say, you know, I probably should be with somebody my own age, except that they think that you're way younger than them and you're not. Now for some of you, if you're in a relationship, it's honestly like not a big deal. With the Star, Oh, but it comes from like a very fond place. So I think even though you're different, even though there's something ambiguous about you, people still like looking at you. Like you're very pleasing to the eye. You have a nice demeanor. You have a nice energy. But it's still very like ambiguous. And I'll say this, like even still today, I meet plenty of people who are my age and I think they are significantly younger than me. And then I find out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought you were like 10 years younger. So this happens a lot, and it seems like it's happening to you. But yeah, when people stare at you, they're just kind of wondering, like, who are you? Who are you? Because you look good, you look different, but I can't quite tell. I can't quite fit you in a box, but I like looking at you. That's what I have for you, pal, too. I hope that resonated. I hope you enjoyed that. It's honestly a sweet energy, but you stress people out a little bit because they find you attractive, but they're not sure if they're allowed to. Oh my gosh, that's what I have for you, pal, too. I do hope that resonated. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for being here, and special thanks to my Patreon patrons. It's because of you I'm able to do these consistent messages, and I hope you're enjoying the exclusive pick a cards on Patreon. And of course, if you ever want to book a personal reading with me, instructions on how to do that are down below. But thank you so much, and until I see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and God bless you. Hi, pile 3. So if you're just a third pile, then this is your reading on what do people think when they're staring at you. When people stare at you, what are they thinking? Okay, I'll be honest. I think a lot of people are immediately associating you with a kind of like fancy, upper class sort of energy. Or people like just assume that you either have money or like you come from a good background or you have a really good job. With the Four of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Three of Swords, people could feel a little bit like insecure when they stare at you or feel like you are kind of like on a pedestal here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm kind of getting... Okay. Kind of close your eyes and imagine, you know those like old Victorian movies, like Oliver Twist, right? And you know how like in those movies you would see like the wealthy people walking down the street with like their top hat and, you know, their nice clothes or something. Something about people staring at you and kind of feeling like that. Like with the Magician, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Emperor, like people think that you're kind of like either high class or you have a lot of money. I think it's the way you carry yourself, for some of you, the way you dress as well too. But people stare at you and think like, how much money do they have? Or who are they? Or are they like someone successful or rich or something? The Two of Cups, people like you though. Oh. It's like kind of mysterious, but it's very enticing as well. So people like you. Seven of Wands. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to be really honest in this message because I think this probably resonates for a lot of people. Okay, pile 3. Oh. Now, for some of you, you're going to be like, okay, like I can see how this would be the case. I'll be honest, pile 3, I think when some people stare at you, they kind of feel like you maybe don't like to really like mix with like the general public or something, or like I'm sorry. It's not like bad though, but it's like you just kind of look like you're like, you're out and about, but you don't, just like keep a distance. Or the Moon. Three of Pentacles. And the Two of Wands. Okay. People could wonder, there's something here about feeling like you have a standard. Or like, I don't know, you just don't seem like someone who's just like out and about mixing with everybody. And people could wonder like, would I be good enough to like talk to this? I'm trying my best because I feel really like weird about the energy. It's not a bad energy, but like, okay, have you ever gone out and maybe you see like a couple or a person or a group of friends where they're like attractive and they look like well off and they look like high class, and like people start to think like, wow, like they're in a league of their own, like would they want to like associate with me, or would they even like acknowledge me? There's something here about that. Okay, the Lovers, like would I make the cut? But like it seems to be coming from a place like, yes, of finding you attractive, but more so thinking you're like high class or high value. 5 Five of Cups. And it makes people kind of sad because they feel like they wouldn't. Ace of Swords. Oh, man. Or, like, people could stare at you like... Okay, so the Magician came up in another pile as well. And the way it feels in this context is like the Magician is trying to manifest something and they're staring at you, right? So for me, it feels like the Magician, the Four of Pentacles. Some people could stare at you hoping that you'll look back or hoping to like make eye contact with you. And people really think like you either like don't notice them or you're in your own world or like you don't acknowledge people. Now, I will say this. That's not true based on the energy. Because I feel like if you have like a reason to talk to someone, so say for instance you're out at a store, people could be like staring at you and maybe like you talk to a sales associate or a cashier and you're friendly and you're nice. And so you don't seem stuck up. But I don't know. I'm just getting this vibe of like people looking at you and thinking like, ooh, they're high class or ooh, they're fancy or something. And you just like not like making eye contact with people all the time or not like stopping to chat with people like makes them feel like they don't think that you think you're too good. It's like they think you're good or they think you're up there. And by you not acknowledging them, they feel like they're not like on your level. This is really, I hope this is like being explained well enough for you to understand. I'm trying to be very diplomatic about the way that I'm saying this because essentially, let's just be honest, like people think you're high class and they kind of look at you and say, okay, well, if this person acknowledges me or something like that, then I must be high class too. Or so. It's really Nine of Wands. I don't know what is going on here, but you look, I just keep it like high class, like the Magician, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Emperor. The Fool. Oh my gosh, yeah, like you're in your own world, you're doing your thing. But that's what I'm saying though with the Fool is you don't come off like snooty. You don't come off rude, like you actually seem nice, but it's just like I'm in my own world, doing my thing. And people just feel like rejected if you don't look back at them or you don't acknowledge them. The Queen of Wands, you look very attractive. People find you very attractive. Yeah, people want to actually be acknowledged by you. Honestly, out of all three piles, this is the one that feels the most like people staring at you, really hoping you look back. Yeah, and you leave people hanging with the High Priestess. Aww. Now, once again, I feel like if someone speaks to you or if you have a reason to talk to someone, you're very open. Like, you're very nice. You're very polite. There's nothing snooty about your energy, but I think when people look at you, you stand out because you look high class. And I'll be honest, I don't know where you are, but that seems to be kind of something that is important to people around you. Like, and I think we all know that there's places in the world that are really like this, where people are very enchanted by like money or status or something, and people think you have high status. And it's like they want to be acknowledged by you, or it would like feel good to be acknowledged by you. Three of Pentacles, like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like if this person looks at me, if they acknowledge me, if they speak to me, then I must be important too. This is unbelievable. Sorry, like not in a bad way, but I'm just like, some of you are looking really good, looking very aspirational. We have the Queen of Swords, the Nine of Swords in the World. Oh my gosh. That's what I have, pile 3. Like it's coming through really strongly. Like, I feel like most people are just having kind of this assumption about you that, you know, you're attractive, you look well off, you look, you know, like a high status individual. But there's a significant amount of people who, like, feel like if they were acknowledged by you or something, that would make them feel more significant. I hope this is making sense, but maybe you've experienced this before where you see someone where you're like, wow, they look great, or they look really successful, they look really well off. And it makes you feel good when they look at you or when they acknowledge you or smile at you or something. The Devil, oh my gosh. I think people, when they stare at you, attach a lot of high value attributes to you because of the way that you carry yourself. But I think this is making sense because I've seen people like this before and I've seen this happen before. One thing I will say too is, for some of you, it's almost like, okay, the club, right? The club of status or wealth or whatever. People are assuming that you're in it, regardless of what your status is or where you come from. And there seems to be this idea of like, if I'm part of the club too, like they think you're in the club and they want to be in the club. But to feel like they're in the club, they need to be acknowledged by someone who looks like they're in the club. I really hope this makes sense. The best way that I can describe it too is like when people say, I knew I was attractive because attractive people were noticing me. It's giving me that, like I knew I was high class because a high class person noticed me. Okay, I think we were able to describe it because it's kind of an intense energy, if I'm honest. Like it's kind of crazy almost. Page of Swords. But that is what they are thinking when they stare at you. I'll be honest, for some of you, this probably shouldn't shock you. Some people stare at you and definitely assume either you come from like generational wealth or you were born in privilege or something like that. For some of you, this will surprise you, but this is how you are coming off. And as I said, for all three piles, if you're listening to this and you're like, what? That's not me. Then you can definitely check out the other piles too. Because each one has like a specific kind of prerequisite where you'll say, okay, this makes sense for me. But I feel like for you, it might surprise you a little bit, but it's not going to feel like it comes out of left field. Yeah, you're a King of Pentacles. And you look like a King of Pentacles. Now, of course, you might have your own challenges. You might be working hard. You might be an entrepreneur. You might be building up your finances. But to the outside world, they think you are a King of Pentacles. They think you are high class. Page of Wands. Or you were born into wealth. Eight of Pentacles. Some people might even think you don't have to work, or like you choose to work and you don't have to work, but you're well off. It's kind of a lot. But if you ever wondered to yourself, like, do people assume that I'm like well off or I come from a good family? 1,000%. 1,000%. They think you are in the club. Whatever that club is for them. But for some of you, I think for a lot of you, honestly, you could be in a place that's hyper aware of status or class or like money or something. And I'm getting this weird energy, I'll be honest, with the devil and the way it's like kind of overlapping this Ten of Pentacles and the Emperor. There are people around you, it's getting kind of, okay. They're craving class elevation or financial elevation. Like it's a big deal to them. And so when they stare at you, they think that person is successful, or that person comes from a high-class background. I think these people place a lot of importance on that. And so you become important because they associate you with that, because of the way you look or the way that you carry yourself. Final cards for pile 3. I'm like out of breath because it's just like, wow. Oh my gosh. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Temperance, the Empress, and the Seven of Swords, King of Cups. Kind of shallow energy from people. I think it does come from kind of a superficial place. You might even find too that people who like crave status or crave like money might gravitate towards you or might fixate on you. So just be aware because it's coming through very, very strongly. But once again, I don't think it's mainly because of the way you dress or the way that you look. It's the way that you carry yourself. Something about your manners and your like general air. It feels like regal. It feels comfortable, easy, just like classy. You have like high class. It doesn't have anything to do with money. It doesn't have anything to do with material possessions. And I talk about this all the time. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You could absolutely be high class. Just have good manners and be gracious. But I think that you are that. And I don't know where you are where this is happening, but because of that, people are 100% assuming that you come from a very prosperous background. And when they stare at you, I think they're kind of fixating because of that. Yes, you look good. Yes, you look attractive. I do also think that a lot of people maybe like catch feelings for you, or once again feel a strong attraction to you. But at the heart of this is something about you looking like, I'm hearing the song Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. That kind of energy. 10 of Swords, and it is like intense for people. I'll be honest, wherever you are, people like want to be rich really badly. I don't know if that's a shock to you, or if you're like, oh yeah, like I totally get that, but they're associating you with that, and it feels almost a little desperate, like with the devil. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It's like they want your attention because they feel like you are in a certain class level. And if you acknowledge them, if they feel acknowledged by you, then that means that they're in the club too. But I don't love the energy of it. I don't think you have anything to worry about. But it feels almost like subservient a little bit, or like just, I just hope these people can like calm down and like recognize, you know, money is not everything. Like, yes, it is good to be stable, but it feels hyper materialistic. And that's kind of normal in times where the economy and finances can be a little bit rough. But this just feels like calm down, like chill out, okay? Because, yeah, it feels like a bit of a fixation. I don't think you're in any danger or anything like that. But I hope that these people can really look inward and maybe not worry so much about, you know, being high status and having money and who has money, and just, you know, worry about the important things in life. Because I see a lot of fixation on perceived status. And when people stare at you, they assume that you are floating high above at the top. That's what I have for you, pile 3. It was pretty intense, straightforward energy, but that's what I have. And I feel like this will make sense to you if this is your pile. That's what I have for you. Thank you so much for being here. I tried my best to explain this in a way that was relatively level-headed. You know, I try to calm the energy down to communicate it to you, because it's a hot energy. But ultimately, they're good assumptions about you. But I hope that these people can calm down when it comes to their fixation on status here. That's what I have for you. Thank you so much. Thank you to my patrons. You make this channel possible. And of course, if anyone wants to book a personal reading with me, the instructions on how to do that are down below. But thank you all so much for being here. I really, really enjoyed this reading. Very exciting energy, and I hope you enjoyed that. Until I see you next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and God bless you.